Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody out there? Hello, hello, hello. This is Bryan here, your web design educator at Shaw Academy. And I'm broadcasting to you live from the Shaw Academy here in Dublin, Ireland. So you're all extremely welcome to the Ultimate Web Design Program, also known as the Ultimate Web Design Course and the Advanced Web Design Course. So loads of names, but you're all in the right place anyway. So yes, well, you're all very, very welcome. Well, I will. I don't have a sound check, but I'm sure if we stay on this slide long enough. I don't think you guys can see anything, can you? I don't think you can. Let me just see here now. Screen and monitor two. There we go. Now I'll give you the full screen and monitor. Whoops, wrong screen again. And there we go. Now we got it. So there we have it. So can you hear? Can you hear? And can you see? Can everyone out there see and hear now? Perfect. Both? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, fantastic, fantastic. So like I said, you're all extremely welcome to this Ultimate Web Design program. And I'm going to be guiding you through the next 12 weeks of this course. So this is our first lesson. So let's just go over a few ground rules. So a few of you will recognize the slide from the introduction course. So about this lesson, so you are all muted as is normal, but you can ask questions from your question box. I'm sure you all know where that is now. Questions should be relevant to the topic at hand and beneficial to the class as a whole. So no two ultimately specific questions to your situation. If it can't benefit the whole class, you send it in an email to web.design@shawacademy.com. And I have set aside time at the end of each lesson, as always, for some Q&A. So perfect. All right. So let's just continue. So about this course. So a few things about this course. Well, first of all, each week there will be a new topic. So the way this course is split up is that each week will be a new topic. All right. Sorry, just 2 seconds. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so each week there will be a new topic, and each topic is split up over 2 lessons. So this lesson here is our theory lesson. So the first lesson of each week will be our theory lesson. And then on the second lesson of every week will be our practical lesson. So we'll be able to take what we learn in our theory lessons and apply it to our code writing skills. So that's the first thing. So the course lesson schedule might be slightly different from what you see on the site. I know that they're still updating my my course outline, but sure, I'll give you exactly what we're going to be covering now. So in the first semester, so I've split this up into 3 semesters, 4 weeks each, so 4, 8, 12, so 4 weeks per month, and then and that will be 8 lessons per semester. So in our first semester, the one that we're in now, is all about HTML5 and CSS3. So lesson 1 is Introduction to Web 3.0, and we'll be talking about that in a little while. Then in lesson 2, so in week 2, we'll be going through HTML5 and CSS3 extended. So we'll be learning more things about these languages, about the most current form of these languages. Then on week 3, we'll be going into mobile first design, how all that works, and then we'll actually be building some mobile first sites. And then in lesson 4, we'll be building a nice portfolio site using nothing but HTML5 and CSS3. And then we'll be finished with HTML and CSS, so we'll move on to building with Bootstrap. So then in that first week, we'll be discussing all about the Bootstrap framework, how to include it, all that kind of stuff. Then we'll move into Bootstrap Extended, and that will be using as many features as we can out of Bootstrap. Then in our third week of the Building with Bootstrap lessons, we'll be rebuilding the HTML club with the Bootstrap framework. And then in week 4, we'll be using Bootstrap templates. So I'm going to show you all the Bootstrap templates, how to use them, how we can edit them, and you'll have great fun with those as well. And then in our final semester, we will be working with WordPress. So we'll be discussing the first week everything about the WordPress CMS. I couldn't fit it in there, but content management system is what we're going to be doing. We'll then be editing the templates and plugins. So then we're going to be taking, it will be WordPress.org. WordPress.org. No use for us as web designers using WordPress.com. But WordPress.org is what we're going to be using, getting full access to the back end. So not only are we going to be using themes, but we'll be editing them. And then we'll get a few plugins, and I'll show you the back end how to edit them. Now, be aware that you will need something like PHP to edit the templates and plugins, if you really want to customize them. But don't worry, you can learn all that with Julian, and I'll be pointing you in the right direction anyway, from a web designer's point of view. Then we'll go into advanced templates and plugins, and that's really when we really start getting into the back end of WordPress and really messing around underneath there. And then we'll go ahead and we'll build a company website using the WordPress CMS. Perfect. So what will you need for this course? Well, what will you need for this course? Well, you will of course need a web browser. Now in the introduction course, you only needed one web browser. For this one, you're going to need around 4. Okay, so first of all, we'll be doing everything in Google Chrome. So as normal, we'll do everything in Google Chrome just so we know that if we're writing any code and you can't figure out what's going wrong, make sure you're looking at it in Google Chrome, because then you know that the code that I provide you should work. Yeah, if you start opening up an Internet Explorer, you're going to be ripping your hair out wondering why the code you've written isn't work, when there's nothing wrong with the code you've written. It's actually the browser that can't handle it. So for any of the projects, we'll be testing them all in Google Chrome, but because this is the Ultimate Web Design Program, you will also need Firefox. If you can, grab Safari, and if you can, also grab some Internet Explorer as well. And they're really for testing. So what you should be doing is when we finish a project, you should just be opening them up in Firefox and Safari and other browsers, and opening them up on your mobile if you can, just to see how it looks and just to see if you would make any fixes to it. We will also need some code editors. So just like in the introduction course, you should already have your Notepad++, or you should have your Text Wrangler application there. And they're just handy because we'll be writing snippets of code, so we won't want this application taking long to open. So we're going to be using Atom.io for all. So whether you're on a Windows machine, a Mac, or Linux, you should all be able to download this application called Atom.io. And that is going to be our code. That's going to be our kind of our project creator on this course. But it's still very handy to have Notepad++ or Text Wrangler to hand, just because it's simple. They're nice to make notes in and stuff like that. It's just handy to have them lying around. Now, special applications and accounts. So we'll need a few things. So for this course, you will need a Facebook account of some kind. You will need a CodePen account. And then those other applications there are GIMP, SketchUp, Handbrake, and Inkscape. They're not absolutely necessary, but we're going to be having some fun in them in later lessons anyway. So GIMP is the GNU image manipulation program. It's a free version of Photoshop. I use it personally because I wasn't able to afford Photoshop straight out of college. So I've become very, very used to using GIMP, and then you can, and oh yes, everything you see in front of you on that screen there, it's all free. Everything there is free, so there's no barrier to entry on this course. SketchUp is a free 3D modeling making program, and we'll be having some fun with that later on as well. Handbrake is not a video editing program, but it's a video converter program. And Inkscape is a vector creating program. So Inkscape is for vectors. So let me see here. If you do not have Text Wrangler, you should well, you see, you can actually use, those code editors there. If you want to download Sublime, if you want to use anything like that, that's absolutely fine. I'll let you know now that I will be using Google Chrome and I'll be using Atom. Now, every so often, you'll notice that, especially when we're building one of the bigger projects, you'll notice there'll be a lot more code in this course. There'll be a lot more code. So there'll be a lot more code. So what that means is that every so often it can be using the find or replace function of Text Wrangler or Notepad++ can come in very handy. So it's just to have that there. If you want to use Sublime, that's absolutely fine. We're going to be doing all our editing anyway in Atom.io. Perfect. And yes, Paul, I believe you are right. B-R-E-A-K. Yeah, that's no problem. Oh, wait. Hand, B-R-A-K-E. B-R... Sorry, I'm just... sorry, someone's just after pointing out a spelling error in one of my things. B-R-A-K-A-K-E. Whoa, my atrocious spelling. So that was going to be Handbrake. So what I will do is I am going to give you a PDF of these slides, and we are going to be setting up some Facebook accounts and all that kind of stuff as well. So hopefully that's all there. Ooh, well guys, you will need to get onto Facebook. Now, you don't have to interact with anyone on Facebook. You can give them a fake name. You don't have to upload any of your family pictures or add any of your family or friends, but you will need to get on Facebook to get into our groups, because some of the best resources provided on this Ultimate course will actually be from my fellow students. From my students. So when we move on to XAMPP, which is a server that you have to set up so that we can run WordPress locally. Well, when you set that up, I'm going to provide you with a set of instructions that won't be They're not ideal for everyone, so students are able to share their work and you're able to go on there and get support as well from other students. Just for the topics that we cover, the community aspect of this course is going to be huge. You need to be on there. There'll be Bryan's design resources where I throw you up stuff every so often. There'll be the advanced Facebook group that you'll all be a part of, and then we'll have a whole bunch of other engagement up there as well. All right, so it is very important that you do have Facebook accounts, and of course, once you actually build your website, your first users always come from social media. Yeah, because of course you can use SEO and everything like that, but you're not going to go anywhere in SEO if you're not integrated with social media. So you don't actually have to be yourself, but you do have to be on there. All right. So, are there any questions relating to these applications so far? That's pretty much everything that that we're going to cover about the course, and then we can break into file paths soon enough. I won't tell you, I'm going to have to create the Facebook group. I'll give you a few of the Facebook, actually for everyone's here now, what I will do is I will open up my Facebook page, and I'll just, and I'll send you out the group things, and we can create another thing. So let me just log in here. Oh, someone's logged me out of all my accounts. So guys, you will notice that this course is going to be much more interactive than the other ones. So if you have questions, go ahead, flood the chat box with your questions, ask as much as you can. A lot of this course is going to be tailored around my students. So if you have something that a lot of students really want to cover a certain topic, we will get around to it, all right? So let me see. So does anyone have any questions about applications or anything like that at this stage? And yes, Abdalrahman, sorry Abdalrahman, I'm getting a bit tongue-tied here. But yes, it is the same Facebook group as the last course. Grab the latest version of Atom there, Stein. Let me type in this. That should be my password, and that is my password. Perfect. So let me just get down to here. Let us find our... So let's see. Advanced Web Design is right here. So this is the Advanced Web Design group. Oh, there's a few things here that need posting. So I'll send this to you. I'll send this group out to all of you now. So this is going to your chat box. So there you go. That's our advanced Facebook group. And here is Bryan's design resource. This is just my own personal group, and this is where you can post up resources. So just to explain the functionality of the groups, if you have a great resource, like if you have a great, so for example, in the last advanced class, we were using brackets, an application called Brackets. So if you have resources that you want to put up, you know, make GIMP look like Photoshop, photo editor online, all of these kind of resources that you find around the web, you can post them to Bryan's design resources. If you would like to share your work, with the class, then you post it up here onto the Advanced Web Design group, and this is also where I'll get in contact with you guys. It's also if I have something, a quick announcement to make to you, I'll be able to get you on here as well. All right, so that's that. Perfect. And actually, while I'm here, what I will do is I will actually sure, why not? I wonder, can I send you PDFs? I'm sure I could send you a PDF. So what I will do is I'll just print off these slides very quickly. Print. And I don't want to. I want to send this to a PDF, Microsoft Print to PDF, and then we'll send this out to you. Oh yes, well we're actually going to open up Atom now in a second so you can see how it all works, but first we're going to cover some file paths. So who out there has heard of file paths before? Lesson 1 slides. Have you all heard of file paths before? So let me just show you a quick preview of what file paths are. So these are things that we want to really ignore on the intro course, simply because they can be quite complicated when you try to figure out. So we're all used to having a graphical user interface, yeah? A few people out there might remember the old computers before we had graphical user interfaces. A few people out there might be privileged enough to remember what computers were like before then. But really what you would do is you can still do it if you find your command line or your terminal, you've got something like this. So you can actually navigate your computer using text. Yeah, like DOS days. Yeah, well, early DOS. So let me see here. So I can see here. So here I can write a command. So I can see here that I'm sitting at on C drive users, and my personal username is AFT78. So if I wanted to go, so let me just TREE. Will give me a tree of everything is there. So now I can see the file paths. Whoop, Control-C. Stop that there, right there. So if I view this in text form, you can start to see a tree. Yeah, so it's what's known as a tree. So you can see, just like HTML, we have our nested elements. So we've got all these nested files. So we're able to move ourselves back. So you're able to navigate through your computer by text as well. So if I was to look at this, so if I want to get to my, if I want to get to, say, my photo gallery here, yeah, so here's a photo gallery. Here's the photo gallery folder. I'm able to click on the icon. But I can also go there by typing in the address. So up here I've got my address bar, and here I can see that this folder particularly is the photo gallery. It's sitting on the desktop. The desktop is sitting on my personal user account. That personal user account is sitting in the folder called users, and those users are sitting on the C drive, which is this big drive. So you can see that just like URLs, it goes like that. And of course I could actually copy that right there. And just to show you that it does actually work that CD stands for change directory in the command line, Control V to paste that in, and I should actually navigate to that. And if I go TREE again, bring up the file tree, well, there we have it. I can see this. Let's see. And I can see there's only one extra folder in there, images. So stuff like that. So TREE. Hey, is that how you do it? I can't remember. I can't remember command line. I've gotten so used to terminal. But anyway, so that's what file trees. So that's file trees. So now let's learn a little bit more about file paths. So here we go. Next slide, please. Yes, so file paths. So we'll take the first one. So starting with a /, we'll return to the root directory and start there. Starting with .. /, these are the commands now how we work with file paths. So starting with the .. moves back one directory and starts there. Starting with .. we'll move back two directories and start there, and so on and so forth. So I could have three of those. We'll move back three folders, so go backwards three folders and move on. And then to move forward, we just start with the first subdirectory and keep moving forward. Now we did see these before in lesson 3, I believe, of the introduction course of the photo gallery, where we needed to include some photographs that were inside the image folder. So just as a nice simple example, I will pull up this here. So let us just take a look. So here is that gallery. So we all remember this project here, the Phoenix Photography, the Phoenix Photo Gallery. Yeah. So if I open up my completed, so that was that there. I could see all the images out there. But unlike the Hidden Tiger Magic Lion Club, Hidden Tiger Magic Lion Club logo was in the same folder, but these were in images folder. So let's take a look at the code underneath here. Edit Notepad++. Nice and simple. See, this is why I like to have this application. I don't have to wait for ages for a bigger application to open up. So let's go down to these images file paths. So I can see. So what am I trying to do? So this document right here is gallery.html. So to find this image, what I need to tell this document is I need to say, all right, stay where you are. I want you to find the images folder, I want you to go into the images folder, and then I want you to find a particular file. And that is exactly what I said with my file paths. Let's take a look here. So I've got my source is the images folder, so I don't need to put anything before it because they're on the same level. They're both in the same directory, so they don't need to look anywhere else. You don't need to go backwards, don't need to go forwards. Just look around you, you'll find an images folder. Yep, find the images folder, go inside the images folder, and you will find something called gallery image _1, and there it is, and it can find it. All right, so here we go. So let me try and open this up here so we can try and make it a little bit more clear. Close you, photo gallery, gallery completed. Open that up, and we'll snap this over here. All right. So what if I was to move these images around a bit? In fact, can I do this? Oh, you over there? No, I can't, unfortunately. Sorry guys, just going to move these around so you can see all 4 windows at the same time, hopefully. There we go. There we go. Alright, so we have we've got our images in our photo gallery. So what if I was to put my HTML files in another folder? What if I was to call this folder dist for distribution, yeah? So now let me just open this up a little bit further. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these files, I'm going to throw them inside the dist folder. Okay? So now let's refresh this page. So your file was not, photo gallery, and then I can just go straight to your /dist. Alright, so here's my photo gallery again. So now I'm opening it up from inside the dist folder. So now you can see there's a problem, yeah? There is a problem. None of the images can be found because what am I telling this file? I'm telling this file to straight away look around and find the images folder. It can't find the images folder. So now it can't find the images folder, yeah? So it's saying look around the same folder. So what do I have to add to that source? So if I bring up this slide again, what do I have to add to that source, do you think, to find those images? Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Before I even brought up the slide, I saw the answers coming in. That is absolutely great that you're picking this up so quickly. So what we need is, of course, the ... Yeah. So now let's turn this into kind of pseudocode, into kind of natural language speak. So now what am I telling the document? Let's save this and refresh. Just make sure it is working. So there we have one image. So let's just translate that quickly into pseudocode, into pseudo English very quickly. So what am I saying? So I've got an image, all right. The source of the image. So now I'm saying, telling the browser, go back one folder. So you're going to have to go back one folder right there. Then when you're in that folder, look around, you'll find an images folder. Yep, go into that folder, and then you will find the gallery image _1 file. So that's exactly what it's doing. That's exactly how it's working. Perfect. Alright, well really that's all we really need to know about file paths. They'll make more sense as we start using more of them throughout the course. So let me just put these back anyway where I should have had them. Photo gallery, perfect. And we'll get rid of... Perfect. Alright. So, Atom is the application we're going to be using. Now I did a bit of research on this. I wanted Aptana, but I was having trouble installing Aptana with the Java
Hello
and everything
everyone,
else like that.
my name is Regan, and I'm
so atom.io. So atom.io. Alright, so this is where we're going to be going. So we're going to be going to atom.io, is a place where we can get our new code editing application. So you go ahead and you can download that. Now there are a few things that I'm going to be posting up on the Facebook today. So it's the first thing that's going to go up on Bryan's design resources tonight is actually going to be a whole bunch of extensions. So what you can do is you click ahead and download the Windows installer, and you go ahead and install it. And you can download, if you're on a Mac, that will just say download the Mac installer and so on and so forth. So let's just open this up. So Atom, A-T-O-M. So after you've downloaded and installed it, you will end up with an application that looks like this, a hackable text editor for the 21st century. So let's just take a quick look around the graphical user interface here. So as always, like pretty much every application out there, we've got file, and up at file, we can new window, new file, open, save. So if you want to save anything, it's always file. If you want to create something new, it's file again. Then we've got edit, and that's all straightforward. Selection, find, and packages. Now guys, please be aware that I have actually only been using this application myself for the last few days, so I'm sure you'll all be discovering great features of it. But I'll be using it quite simply for its original purpose, which is to just create code. So I can see that this hasn't picked up the styling that I had on the other one. Control-Shift+, is that what you said? Yeah, that's it. So Control-Shift+ will increase my font size. So guys, tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. Can you all see that there? Yeah? Is that good enough? Is that very readable? Yep. Perfect. So let's start with a simple HTML document. So HTML. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? DOCTYTYPE. HTML. Perfect. And then we'll start with our HTML tags. And then I'll just create a nice simple boilerplate to work with. Head. Ooh, we're going to get some nice plugins for this now in a little while. That will do all the self-closing stuff for us. So remember, like I said, I wanted to use Text Wrangler and Notepad++ because it forces you to write all the code out all the way. Well, so will this, but we've got some plugins to fix that for us. So every time we start a tag, it will close it automatically. It will beautify our code, auto-indent, and we can make full use of that now that we know how it all works. So there's our head. Let's just add a title in here and just some heading 1 text as well. So title is going to be new web page. And in the body, we'll just stick a nice heading 1 tag, which says hello new students. Alright, so now we can go up and we can go file and we can save. Alright, now what I will do and what I would recommend everyone out there to do for this course, especially for the Ultimate Web Design course, is you should create a development folder. Yeah? So if you're on a Mac, I would almost recommend going back to your root folder, going back to your user account and creating a completely new folder, you know, alongside desktop documents and all that kind of stuff. But create a new development folder, keep it separate, and that is where you should work from, okay? Because we're going to be dealing with multiple files here on this course, so the best thing to do is to be working from, just have a completely separate folder for all your developments. So I'll create a development folder here on my desktop. In fact, I'll do it nice and simply by going to my actual desktop over here. So File, New Folder. There we go. And this will be called Ultimate Web Design Program. UWDP. UWDP. Perfect. Alright, so that's going to be our development folder. Back into Atom. So File, Save As, Desktop, and let's just, what should I call this? Ultimate Web Design Program. Yep. So guys, you will start noticing how quickly, how handy file paths are, especially on a, I have to say, especially on a Windows operating system. Sometimes their Finder windows don't really get me around much, their Explorer windows. So let me just call this index.html. And there we have it, and we're getting a bit of syntax highlighting coming up there as well. So there we have it. So there we have a nice simple web page. Now let us just run this. Perfect. Everything's working fine. This application is working great. Now, where did I find all those great resources? Where can I find those now? Actually, I'll tell you exactly how I found them, guys. Now, how do I find these great applications for Atom, considering that it's a relatively new application, and I don't use it normally. I normally use Aptana, but I like this Atom application because you can add things to it. So what if I was to go? So as always, guys, as web designers, this is your best friend. Yeah, this line is always your best friend as web designers because the industry changes so quickly and you're constantly reading, constantly catching up. You're doing stuff like this. Best PACKAGS for Atom. It even knows what I'm doing. All the other designers out there filling in all this for me. So let me just see which one was I actually looking at. 10 Essential. They're the ones there. Perfect. Sorry guys, I'm actually working off a computer that isn't my normal computer, so so these are open on my other one, but don't worry, I've already got all these open so I know exactly where I want to go. So you can take a look at these yourself, you can add them all on yourself, but let me just go down. What I really want is will highlight select is going to be important, so I'll post that to the Facebook group later, but what I really want is indentation and beautification. So Atom Beautify is something that I would really like. And of course we can also add this kind of Space Invaders game as well to our Atom and start blowing up our code at the end of a long day. So perfect. So let me just grab some Beautify code. Where is your instruction, sir? And, ooh, yes, so let me see, can I add this? Perfect. Alright guys, so you're going to have some great fun on here, yeah? So after you've downloaded Atom, well, you might as well boot up your command line. So if you're on a Windows computer, go to your search bar and type CMD, and you'll find your command prompt application. Now, there's loads of ways to install apps, to install these packages onto your Atom application, but I have to say this is the most fun way, especially if you've got brothers or sisters or someone who doesn't know what you're doing looking over your shoulder, makes it look like a right hacker. So, APM, INSTALL, ATOM, BEAUTIFY. Alright, so I'm actually just taking this line directly from here. I could copy and paste, but sure, this looks better. So enter, and then it will start finding it. So there we have installing. So we'll always say info could not find the files for the given patterns, the system. It will always say that, but then we'll go installing the Atom directory Beautify. It will always find the package. As long as you get the package correct, it will start installing it, and then that will install that package there. So I'll be putting up a whole list of these things later on. Alright. So I'll let that install there while that's happening, and I can leave out the automatic increment. But what I really do need on this computer is the autoclose HTML. That's exactly what I'm looking for there, that plugin right there, and this is what I really want here. So yep. Still installing the Beautify. The Beautify might take a while. So what the Beautify does is it does that same thing that CodePen does. Yeah, so you know when you're writing your CodePen projects, let me just go in here, new pen. So if I was to go HTML and head, I'm going to find one of these for Atom as well. Do you guys know what I'm doing here? Do you see what's happening? I can just type body, hit tab, and it fills in everything for me. So p tab, div tab. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's very, very handy indeed. So there we have that. So actually this is all indented all naturally for me, but let me just get rid of all that. So this is what Beautify does when Beautify finally installs. We're able to go into our Atom application and just write our HTML. Then we're able to click up here and we're able to click tidy HTML and it will do all that for us. Now remember, like I said, that you shouldn't rely on that. If you have your own code writing style, do not abandon it, okay? So do not abandon it. Yeah, so guys, if you want to get a head start on downloading Atom, because for some of your internet connections, it might take a little while to download the Atom application, but it does look fantastic simply because it does work on Windows, Mac, and Linux all at the same time, and we should all be looking at roughly the same interface while it's happening. This thing is taking, Beautify is actually taking quite a while to download, so we'll just leave that run. Actually, while we're leaving that run, I might as well do the auto close in a different way. So let me go down here. So this is the auto close. Force in line, don't need any of you guys, but where is your download button, sir? There we go, repo. Can I click there? No, repo. So there we go, so clone or download. I would like to download as a zip, please. That will download to my desktop over there, auto close. Alright, let's learn how to install packages on Atom's application, so packages. Let's see. First question, guys. Has anyone out there actually used Atom before? Has anyone out there got experience with Atom? Or any of my more experienced web designers? Oh, so no one's used this before. Fantastic. So we're all at the same level then. Fantastic. Has anyone out there got any other suggestions of great apps, of great free web development apps? No, brackets. You see, I was using brackets in the last one, and I love brackets. The problem is that it's very, very, very buggy for me. I'm sorry, I can't find where I can. I'll be using command line. I can't find where I can import my package. Here's my brackets. So yes, I was using brackets in the last one, in the last running of this advanced course, except it kept getting buggy, like a window would go out of way, and I wouldn't be able to pull it back in, so we'd have to shut down the computer, start up again. Joolu, I haven't heard of that one before. Let's take a look at that. Joolu, Joolu, very good. And what else? Sublime Text. Sublime is a fantastic text editing application. Atom is going to be more of a project manager. Oh, did you see that? Yeah, perfect. So Atom is going to be more of a project manager. Oh, sorry, one of my students seems to be able to see. I don't seem to have a settings tab. That seems to be my problem. Is settings under... So you will notice that this happens from time to time. Can anyone see where I can add a package into the actual Atom application? Am I going blind? Can you all see it that I can't see it? This is odd. I see a lot of people. File. Settings. And, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very, very much. So there's a packages here. I'm sure I can install. Yes, perfect. So thank you very much, class. Thank you very much. So you can install from command line. And thank you to Shantae, Steve, Marina, Sean, Carol, and Chris as well for your much appreciated feedback there. So packages. So there we go. So packages. I would like the HTML autoclose. AUTOCLOSE. There we go. Autoclose HTML is the one that I want. Install. That's perfect. The one that has the 277,000 downloads, I think, will be the safe bet. Alright, so we'll let that install as well. Okay, perfect, and this is finally done. So Beautify is finally done as well, so I can close down my command line, close down you, and let us go back into our slides. So while we're letting all that load up, let us talk about the progression of the web. So this lesson... Oh, sorry, I'm just reading some comments here. What is this? Ooh, so the Microsoft Visual Studio community as well. I believe, is that what Tig is using? I wonder if that's what Ty's using. Microsoft Visual Studio as well. So guys, in this course you will have freedom to use any of the applications that you see fit. I would recommend that if you struggle at all with these new languages, that you stick to what I'm using, simply so that you know that the error is in your code and not in the application or the browser. But really, in this one, if you have Dreamweaver, you can use Dreamweaver. If you're used to using brackets, by all means use brackets. Okay, perfect. So guys, the progression of the web. So we have 3 stages of the web, which I'm going to fade in because that's very, what? So we have 3 stages of the web. So we have web 1.1, web 1.0, sorry, which was the first generation of the web. So web 1.0 was the first generation of the web. Then that was when we had that's when we had these things called static web pages. Yes, so we had static web pages, we had no interaction. And we had no user-generated content. Now, we did have e-commerce, so we had shopping carts, yes? So you were able to go onto a site, and what they would do is they would tell you exactly what their site was, they provide you with all the content, and you could interact in the form of a shopping cart. And that's the best thing you could really hope for, would be, or else maybe to drop them a line or something like that. But you certainly weren't uploading your own photo galleries and uploading your own content. So that was Web 1.0. Then we moved into Web 2.0. Then we moved into Web 2.0. So Web 2.0 was a term coined in 1999 and then popularized at a conference in 2004. All right. So there was no actual update to the web. So there was no real technical update to the web. So people didn't sit down and go, it's time to move into Web 2.0. This is what we need to do it. No, it was actually just a shift on how people interacted with websites. So as the underlying technologies got better, as infrastructure got better, as phone lines got better, as we're able to do far more with the web, well then we start seeing different approaches to the web. So we start seeing the first running of these sites so we start seeing the early stages of MySpace. You had a whole bunch of social media platforms and you had forums, a lot of forums going out and becoming extremely popular. But the real part here was the social media. A real thing here was the rise of social media, where people could upload their lives onto the web, where you could sit at home and if you wanted to upload an image, you uploaded the image and then you could share it with all your friends, and that was what was happening. So this wasn't an update to the actual technologies, it was just a difference on how people were using it. And when people noticed how people were using it, well then they coined the term Web 2.0. Right? So Web 1.0 was only decided on after 2004 really. So after Web 2.0 became popular with this term to encompass how people were using the web, calling Web 2.0, when that became popular after 2004, well then that's when Web 1.0, so then people took a step back and retrospectively defined what Web 1.0 was. So now that's Web 1.0, that's Web 2.0, so we are now in Web 3.0. We are now in what is known as the Semantic Web. Alright, so what is Web 3.0? Well, we're not throwing away everything beforehand. We still have static web pages. We still have e-commerce systems. We're certainly not getting rid of social media anytime soon or user-generated content. In fact, we're layering it on thickly. In fact, now user-generated content websites are more popular than ever before. But the big switch in Web 3.0 is this whole thing of semantics. So the semantic web, connective intelligence. And what this means is connecting apps, concepts, applications, and people all together, giving things actual meaning. Now, the reason why this is actually possible is because of the HTML5 update. Yes, so the current form of the HTML language, HTML version 5, HTML5, has made the semantic web possible. And it's made the semantic web possible because of all the new tags that we have. Alright, so let me quickly open that up and show you what I mean. So, do you have any questions on Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0 so far? Sorry? Yes, well you see, these weren't actually properly decided upon. It's really, you really way to think about it, it's how people are using the web. So they're really decided on retrospectively, yeah? So it's after an event has happened, well then they place in the market, go like, something happened there. Now we clearly see that there was a step up in the web design industry. Perfect. So sorry, I'm just trying to bring up this this flow chart for you guys now. So here we go. So HTML5 sectioning flowchart, and there it is. So you'll all be getting this one as well. Yeah, so you'll be getting a version of this one right here. So you can see here all these new tags that we're going to be working with. So I'll just quickly bring you through these because we'll be working with these in the next class anyway. And quickly, just before I move on, so Web 2.0 was an increase of people, but Web 3.0 was an increase of web development. Yes, I guess yes, Abdul Rahman, you could take it from that angle as well. Yes. So the real way to think about it, if you want to have a nice brief overview of what they're called, so Web 1.0, the static web, Web 2.0, user-generated content, Web 3.0, the semantic web, and they're really the titles of the web generations. And I don't even have a clue. I can't even begin to imagine when we were first talking about Web 2.0 back in about 2006, 2007 here in Ireland. We were people would ask, oh, then what do you think Web 3.0 would be? And we're like, oh, don't even have a clue what that could be yet. But now we're in Web 3.0. I don't have any idea what Web 4.0 will end up being. It will probably be the transition of the web into the physical space. It will probably be the next frontier, breaking down the fact that you need a screen at all to access the web. Is XHTML dead? I wouldn't say it is, Rachel. I wouldn't say XHTML is dead. XHTML, guys, is the extensible hypertext markup language. So HTML, as you will all see, is very forgiving. You know, you can make things wrong and then it doesn't matter. You know, everything still displays on the screen. It might display exactly the way you want it to or the way you're expecting, but it still works. It doesn't go like, nothing works. XHTML is extensible, which means that you can use other languages and you can use it to provide information to other languages as well. So XHTML, it is still widely popular, especially for the Internet of Things. So if you come up with a new product that connects to the internet, so that you know the connected home, yeah, so that's what you can use XHTML for stuff like that as well. Alright, so some of the new tags that we're going to be dealing with. So we've got the Nav tag. Yeah, so we've got the Nav tag for navigation. So we're not just restricted to divs anymore, because that was the big problem in Web 2.0. We want HTMLs, can we all remember this line? That HTML was never intended to style a web page, yeah? HTML was never intended to style a web page. HTML was never intended to style a web page, but the problem was that the language didn't really allow much room to structure a document. All we had were divs. We had headings, we had divs, and we had paragraphs. But that didn't give you enough options. So now we've got all these other tags. We've got navigation, we've got article, we've got figure, section, aside, and then we've got all the other tags that we used to have. So we've got address, block quote, p, and we've also got the div for everything else. Alright, so yeah, and it doesn't always tell you where the mistake is. Exactly right, Chris. If you can run it through a bunch of validators, and some of them will not catch the mistake, especially with unclosed tags and stuff like that. But with XHTML, it's a very strict form of HTML. So if you want to learn XHTML, you don't actually really have to learn it. All you have to do is just take your time when writing your HTML and writing it absolutely perfectly, and you'll actually be writing very good XHTML then. So let me see if I can bring this up for you. Advanced Web Design, lesson slideshows, and I'll see if is that from the old one? Webs 2.0 part 2, possibly? Yes, there is. So Brander is asked, well, I think this is the question you're asking, Brander. Is there a way to create a master page and then add the header, navigation, footer, and on the master? So basically, you want to inject, you want to have, just edit your navigation bar once, and then that's going to be populated to every page. You'll have one footer, and that will be popped into every page. Yes, that is possible. We use PHP to do that. If you take Julian's Introduction to Web Development course, I'm sure you'll be able to figure that out very quickly about grabbing the HTML that you wrote in one document and populate it into another one. In fact, if any of you grab a free version of Dreamweaver, you'll see that's exactly how they're doing it. They're using comments and they're using certain injection tags to grab, and they're using PHP, and that's how they get that menu bar thing to work in Dreamweaver. They're just they're not doing anything special. They're just skipping all ahead for you. This here, David, is the Advanced Web Design class. Unfortunately, we are not the Web Development. We are the Web Design class in here. And this is exactly what I'm looking for right there, Semantic Web. So here we go. Yes, you can use JavaScript as well. I'd say PHP is a very good option. For it simply because you can store a lot of data in there. So here is the reason why we've moved into the semantic web. So if we remember beforehand, these would all be divs, yeah? So beforehand, these would all be divs, and a browser and the search engines would just have to deduce what the content is, yeah? So if we take a look at here, so that would have been a div, a div, a div, a div, a div, div, and div, yeah? So how would a browser have recognized this in Web 4.0? Before we had header, nav, and section article tags? Well, what would happen is the browser would look at all this and take it all as the same. So it would go, well, that's the whole content for this page. But then what happens if you have stuff like adverts on, or if you have nothing, or if you have something there that has nothing to do with the page? It's just, extra content, it's clickbait or whatever it is, and you want on the page. That was affecting your SEO. It was restricting the ability of the search engines, of other applications to understand what was on your website. So now we have a new tag like aside, which lets the web browser know that this is aside from the document. Yeah, it's not crucial to the document's text. We've got sections, and inside the sections we've got articles. So it's even split up even more. So you can think of sections like the sports section of a newspaper and the business section of the newspaper. And inside each of those sections, we have articles. So we can have the sports section, and then we can have an article on baseball. We can have an article about rugby. But then, back in the older version of the language, these would all be thrown together, and a browser would not be able to understand the difference or the relationship that the document has internally. So let's take a quick look at that flowchart again. So if we start at the very top, we can ask ourselves a question. So we'll start at the very top and ask ourselves a question. So is it a main navigation block, right? So is the element going to be a main navigation block? If it is, then we can use our nav tags. Now this isn't for a series of links. This isn't for links to external websites. This is your main navigation block. This is going to tell the search engines. This is going to tell anything else that's looking at your site that this is how you navigate this site. It's not a link to resources, not a link to anything else. This is the navigation block that navigates this site. All right. Now the next thing you're going to ask yourself. So instead of using a div, does the section that you just wrote, does it make sense just by itself? Yeah? Is it a self-contained article? Exactly. So is it a self-contained article? Yeah? Well, then we could use the article tag. Is it crucial to the current content? Well, if it's not crucial to the current content, well, then we'd use aside, yeah? We'd use aside if it's not crucial to the current content, and we'd let the browser and the search engine know that this is not part of the article, because that aside thing could be advertising some new shoes, yeah? So if I had a page that was about news, I had a section that was about sports, and then I had an article about baseball, and then in the middle of this page there was an advert for shoes, and then now I can wrap that in aside tags and let them know that, no, this thing about shoes has nothing to do with my website. It's an aside element, which is perfect for us, and especially for SEO. Can it be moved to an appendix? Yeah, so like in text journals or in scientific journals, you'll normally have, figure, where it will talk about a diagram. So say if you're giving a chart or something like that that can be removed from the text and it still makes sense by itself, well then be able to use something like a figure tag. So that could be used for charts, it could be used for graphics and all that kind of stuff as well. And then we can move on to section tags. Yeah, so would it make sense to add a heading? Now what that means is a heading 1, because in HTML, in the previous versions of these languages, we should have only used one heading 1 per page. You weren't meant to use any more than one heading 1 per page. But in this language, because we have section and article tags, we're able to change the flow of the document, which means that we can use more than one heading 1. Each section can have its own heading 1. Now, we are still debating about that. I believe, Bryan Hurley believes that I can use more than one heading 1 to the page, and it won't mess up the document flow. But it has to be used correctly, and we'll start to see that more. Ooh, no, the semantic web is not just saying that we're using semantic tags. It's not really about us using semantic tags. It's more about how the browsers and how computers, how machines are using our tags. Because up to this point, for the last 25 years, we've been building all of these sites. They're really for other people, yeah? Everything we've been doing is for other people. The very first versions of HTML, a lot of styling tags incorporated into HTML. No absolutely no purpose of styling tags being incorporated into the HTML language, but it was easier for people. It really messed up browsers, it really messed up search engines, they weren't able to understand what's going on, but it helped people. We're now moving into a stage where it's highly beneficial to help the machine and people at the same time. So what is that metric I used to throw around? Best Buy. Is anyone aware of that company, Best Buy, over there in the States? Yeah? Best Buy, do you know the electronics store? I think they sell electronics. Anyway, they added HTML tags to their product pages on their website. They decided to mark it up semantically. And their rating shot through. I think they saw a 30% increase in online sales. Ridiculous figures for making their thing semantic. Because what that meant was that when you were searching for, say, an iPod, yeah, so something as simple as an iPod, well then Google knew exactly that on Best Buy's page that this was an article and a product about an iPod. They were able to throw away all the adverts that were left and right and center. They were able to see straight away and know full certainty that this Best Buy page was about an iPod, simply because it was marked up with these new tags, because they threw all the aside elements, anything that weren't about iPods or weren't about the page, in a side tag so Google could ignore it. The navigation block was wrapped in a nav tag, so Google knew that they were navigation. So when they were talking about Windows Phone, when they were talking about Macintosh, when they were talking about anything else that Best Buy sells, well, Google would know straight away. It's like, well, this isn't actually about the page. That's navigation. That's the other products that this place sells. So this is the very, very important part of this semantic web. Yes, so semantic tags are actually, these are just the new div tags, pretty much. That's pretty much what they are. It's like, imagine when you have the div tags and you're constantly giving them classes and stuff like that. Well, these are just the new div tags, the meaningful div tags. That's no problem, Daniel. Sorry about that. Anyway, this will come out perfect for you tomorrow anyway. Alright, so what it's to have a heading, so we can have a section that's full of articles. So so I'll keep going back to that example of like a newspaper, where you can have your sports section, and your sports section can contain a number of articles. And your sports section can contain a number of different articles, and you can have a number of sections and a number of articles within each section. But then what happens? For any other semantic weight to content, we can use another element. Yeah, so for any other semantic weight, so if it's a paragraph, we use a paragraph. If it's a paragraph, it's a paragraph. If it's a block quote, it's a block quote. But then for everything else, we've got a div. So if it's not semantic, if you just want to section something off and make a box on the screen, it's not an article, it's not a side, it's not a figure, it's not anything, well then we can go back to using divs. Alright? Perfect. So that is our HTML5 flowchart. Perfect. And let us open up. Well, see, these tags have predefined meanings. Alright guys, so these tags have predefined meanings. You cannot use these tags to make your own definition of of how the document should be read. You will actually have to use them. You will have to use them as described. And don't worry, because I'll need the full hour to actually go through a full document. That's what we're going to be doing next class. We're going to be creating a simple page, just a very, very plain page, but there'll be a lot of HTML in it, marking up using all our new tags. So we'll be using nav bars, we'll be using the section tags, we'll be using the article tags, and everything else. This lesson was quite simply just to introduce you to the new applications, the rundown of the course, and to introduce you to the concepts that we're going to be covering on this course as well. Alright, so perfect. Alright, and just because we have a bit of time, I'll show you the other applications that are going to be there as well. So we've got the GIMP application, GIMP. The GNU image manipulation program, very nice, very, very handy program. So that's one there. Let us go. So we've got the GNU image manipulation program. There was a few more that I listed there. Let me just pull those back up on my other screen just so I can have them open. You have CodePen, GIMP, SketchUp, S-K-E-T, SketchUp, which is for creating 3D modeling, and it's all free to use. And that's what we're going to be using to make that 3D text. And we all remember my final lesson of the introduction course, where we start breaking into into virtual reality frameworks, but then I'll show you that little demo of the one that I made for Shaw Academy. And there was some 3D text there in the back. Well, that's how I made it, using SketchUp, so it's nice and simple to use. So Handbreak. We'll be using Handbrake. Oh, sorry, I keep misspelling that. We'll be using Handbrake simply because we're going to be including video and audio into one of our sites as well. So I'm going to show you how to include video and audio directly in using the video tags, using the audio tags directly into HTML. So we'll want something like Handbrake to convert our videos so we can compress them and convert them for the web. And then there's another one that we have is Ink, SCAPE. And Inkscape is a free vector program. Yeah, so vector are scalable vector graphics. Alright, so let me see if I can, ooh, I wonder, is there a logo? It must be. So, do you see what's, let me see, can I open that in a new window? I can. So, let's see, is that a, oh, open image in new window, please. Copy image address, and let's see, what does that look like? Ah, yes, so this, guys, is a scalable vector graphic. And what this means is that it's built with math. Yep, so it's built with math. So what it means is that I can scroll down very small and it retains its quality, but I can also zoom right in and it will always retain this great quality. I wish I could zoom in more, but it will always retain this great quality. Let me just, and this is the math underneath it as well. So let me see, can I actually just copy this? So this is all the math that makes all this up, and I can actually change this around as well. So let me see, if I was to actually just find a part that I can delete. Ah, so there's the cap of the ice. And that's where it's getting the image from. So let's actually just delete the ice tip, and there we go. We just delete the code that made the ice tip. And then you can just keep messing around with that. So we'll have great fun with this. And you can actually zoom this up to infinity, and it will always be perfect quality. You won't start pixelating because it is built with math. And then we'll be able to use Inkscape to create our own vector icons. So we'll create a penguin in Inkscape anyway. Perfect. Ooh, and what I will also do, what I'll also do in this thing as well, I'll scare you a little bit by grabbing this here, the HTML5 boilerplate. So if any of you want to take a poke around before next lesson, really for next lesson, what I would love you all to do is to download Google Chrome. If you haven't used any of those browsers that I mentioned before, the Google Chrome, the Mozilla Firefox, or the Internet Explorer, or the Safari, if you get as many browsers as you can on your laptop, that your laptop is able to use, grab them all, take a look around them, see what tools are available to you, take a poke around inside Atom, find some packages that you would really like as well, because remember, this is your own code writing style. Change the theme. My theme is going to be different when I come in, when we come back on Thursday. I don't particularly like this theme. It's too soft. It's not distinct enough. If you haven't got a Facebook page, do go ahead, set yourself up a Facebook account, do whatever you need to get onto Facebook. You don't have to interact with anyone, it's just so you can get access to the groups. Don't forget about your CodePen accounts, guys. I just want to confirm, has anyone here not taken the introduction to web design? Sorry, there was a double negative there. Has anyone here, ooh. I'm kind of confused now because I asked the question very confusing. So who here has taken the introduction to web design? Perfect. So a lot of people. And who here has not taken the introduction to web design? Ah, alright, okay. Well, that's no problem at all, that's no problem. You should get along fine. There might be a bit of a learning curve once we get into the practical lesson, which the first one is going to be this Thursday. So there might be a bit of a learning curve, but don't worry, just stick with it and you'll get through it just fine. Like I said, we've got a lot of time to focus on each one of these areas. So just so you can have a preview, so I just wanted to get a feel for the group before I showed you this. So we're all used to working with them. We're all used to working with our Hidden Tiger Magic Line Clubs and with CodePen and stuff like that. Well, unfortunately now we have to start working with all the other stuff. So because not all browsers work the same, because people are still using old versions of Internet Explorer and all that kind of stuff, and because we're going more to the professional environment at this level, we have to make sure that our designs work across everywhere, yes? So we have to make sure our designs display beautifully across all browsers and is consistent, which means that we have to write a lot more code, unfortunately. So let me just extract all of this into my development folder. There we have that. All right, and I can actually find that to the file path here in Atom. So there we have it, so a HTML bracket. So guys, you ready? Let's take a look inside our index file. So this is a blank index file. So we all remember. So this was the so this was pretty much the this was actually right there. So this is the boilerplate that I gave you in the introduction course. Nice and simple. We had the body, we did the head, we had all that kind of stuff. Well, on the ultimate course, and when we're doing larger projects, well, this is your starting point. Okay, so this is really your starting point. This is the bare bones, and this will actually produce nothing. So what we have here is we have a whole bunch of stuff here. So I'll just quickly explain to you what this document is just before we finish up. So we've got our HTML. You can see we're able to add a class up here to the HTML. We've got class no.js. I'm not actually sure what that means. I'm pretty sure it means no JavaScript, but I'll have to look into what that class no.js means. Anyway, language is English. So for me, I'll just type EN. If that was English, it would be French or AR for Arabic, and so on and so forth. You can see that straight away. So we still got the doc type, we've got the HTML opening tag, then we start with the head tag, and now we've got a whole bunch of metadata. Metadata is absolutely useless to your SEO, but it's very important to us as web designers because we're able to define, say, our character set. So if you have to translate your website into any other languages, you have to always make sure you're setting your character set as UTF-8. It will give you the most amount of languages that you can possibly use. So especially any of my students out there dealing with Arabic or dealing with anything other than doing anything other with the various characters that you see on the screen, you are definitely going to have to declare one of these. A car set, we've got content, i.e. Edge, we've got fixes there. We've got fixes there straight away for Internet Explorer. Yes, so straight away we've got fixes for Internet Explorer. We've got the content, so that's just some content that's about this page, everything like that. Here we've got our link to our. So if someone saves this web page on their phone. If someone saves this web page on their phone, well then this is where that icon, you can grab that icon, you can define your own icons for if someone saves your web page on their phone, and you can set your fave icon. You'll see that our style sheets are actually externally linked. So something very important to note is all the various files in here. Yeah, so we're not just dealing with our index HTML and have it all inside there. We've also got our CSS files, our main and normalized. We've got our docs inside here, yeah. So we've got various docs where you might want to place notes to yourself or to any future developers looking at your project. All our images are normally kept inside our image folder to keep the place nice and neat, and all our JavaScript is kept inside the JavaScript folder. So you can see we like to, as web designers and web developers, it's very well, you should always just be splitting up your development folders just the way we split up our document. So in this ultimate course, we won't be placing any styles in the head. All the styles will be linked externally in external style sheets. And then here we have some modernizer script for JavaScript. Now what this modernizer thing is absolutely fantastic. What that does is that allows us to write HTML, use HTML5 and CSS3, and that modernizer JavaScript file will actually convert it for older browsers. So browsers that can't support stuff like box shadow or text shadow, it will actually fill in that for you. So you don't have to go around with all the various, you don't have to go around adding every single fix. Modernizer is perfect for that. It's included in pretty much every HTML5 boilerplate you can find. But here is something very interesting that is very important to us. If less than IE8, yeah. So Internet Explorer 8, it seems actually quite recent. Internet Explorer 8 seems like a very recent thing, but Internet Explorer 8 can't handle HTML5. So straight away, that's our first problem. Internet Explorer 8 cannot handle HTML5. So let's just quickly just show you what that will come up with. So if someone tries to log in, so this is one of the ways that we can fix. It's commented out with a catch there before there. Let me just open up CodePen. So if you were to open that up on Internet Explorer 8, you would end up seeing something that looks like this. Paste. You are using an outdated browser. Please upgrade your browser to improve your experience. What would happen is they click on that link and it will bring you to a web page where it gives you all of these free browsers that you can use. I don't agree with them putting Microsoft Edge there at the end, but I'm sure they have to. Just Microsoft Edge is terrible. But let us go back in here. So what's actually happened there? It's not actually, it's not really, it's commented out, but it's commented out with an if statement. Yeah. So if these are special captures that we can use to catch. We used to have them for Internet Explorer 6, but now it's gone all the way up to Internet Explorer 8, especially for HTML5, because we can't use HTML5 in Internet Explorer 8 unless. And then after we've got all that, so that's all the code, just to get the document ready. Now we're ready to start scripting. So this is where we can put all our code. Yeah, so this is where we're going to put all our code. And underneath all our code, we got more scripts and we got more stuff to play with. So we've got our plugins, we've got jQuery, of course, jQuery to work with, and we've got, let's see, is there anything else down here that's very important? And Google Analytics. So I'll be showing you SEO in this course as well. That's going to be a very important thing, adding Google Analytics to our projects as well. So we'll be covering all that. So as you can see, we will need some time. We really do need those practical sessions to make a dent into this code writing. And you can go ahead and download it. If you just Google HTML5 boilerplate, you can download that and take a look at the files that are in there. And very interesting, guys, is the 404 file. Yeah, page not found, which you can customize yourself. So best 404 pages, which is the best one. I think the best one has to be Git. They've got the, oh yeah, so they've, GitHub has actually got great error pages. So this is what you do, this is what you'll be doing. But don't worry, guys, so listen, this might seem a bit daunting. I want to show you that because I really want you to see the progress that you'll be making throughout this course. So you can take a look at that again. I'll leave that up on the screen now. Where's that Atom application? And we'll leave that up on the screen just so you can stare at all that beautiful code for now, because you will be using all this in just a little while anyway. So this Thursday we're going to be creating our first HTML5 document with all our new tags, adding a navigation bar and all that kind of stuff. And then next week we will be moving straight into more HTML5 and CSS stuff, advanced CSS selectors. Yeah. So, before I actually continue, could someone know yes. Sorry. I didn't even open up my CSS file. Oh, so much. Anyway, I'd recommend you download the HTML5 boilerplate anyway, and taking a look around there, because there's also stuff inside the HTML to normalize everything as well. Yeah, there's loads of stuff in there. So here we go. So here now I can finally get to my style. So here we go. So just very quickly. Let me just see. Body. Do you know what that is there? Do most of my students understand what that is? No? Perfect. We're going to be covering all of that kind of stuff this week then. We've got more CSS selectors to work with. That there means that I want to select all divs that are the child of bodies. Yeah? So actually, it would actually make more sense if I went something like this. SECTION. And I went section ARTICA. Section ARTICLE. Alright. STROG. So what this is saying here, guys, so I'll tell you what this is saying. So if I wanted to select, say, I want to select all the strong elements that are inside articles, but I also had some strong elements in my nav bar. I also had some strong elements, outside the articles and sections, up along the top, outside of my news articles. Yeah, I just need the flow of my document. So if I want to select all strong tags that are inside those articles, well, I can use these kind of extended USS selectors. So what it's saying here is, find all sections, find all strong elements that are children of articles, that they themselves are children of sections. So we'll be having some great fun using these things as well. So we'll be breaking into all that this Thursday's class. So I have gone a good bit over, but we are kind of in question time anyway. So so guys, you can ask me any questions you want. You want now, so you can go ahead. Oh, yes, I can give you that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this here. All the resources will be going up onto your Show Academy dashboard anyway, but I have just saved these files. Let me see. Hopefully I'll be able to drop this out to you through the Citrix system. Let's just check this out. So desktop, and I want the. Let me see if I can find this here now for you. If I was to grab not the lesson 6, not the free trial. I'll leave that window open for you anyway. Lesson 1 slides. There we go. All right, let me know if this comes out to you. It's just uploading now. We're at 25, 54, 76, 100%. So you should now have a file there available to you. Are you guys able to see that file I just dropped into the Citrix system? Yep, yep. All right, guys. They're the slides from this lesson. Hopefully they're coming out all right. I just quickly exported them just for attending live. You can take those now. Sorry, they are all text based, so you will be able to quickly. You will be able to. Whoop, bring this up. You will be able to. Well, first of all, these are all straightforward, very easy to find. These, very easy to find. These, well, text wrangling can be a bit tricky to find, but don't worry, you'll be able to get it. Ooh. So some of you were able to get the, you can't see that, I just dropped a PDF there into your Citrix system. Sorry, because I'm the organizer, my interface is wildly different from what you guys see in the Citrix system. Ooh, it should have been posted on Facebook. Susan, I'll take a look at that. In fact, Susan, I'll just actually take down your name. I'll email it to you, sure. I'll email it to you when I get home now. So SUSAN, yes. Perfect. PROP. Perfect. All right. Ooh. The Citrix system, that's how we're all broadcasting at the moment. We're using the Citrix broadcasting system. That's how you're listening to me right now. That's what Citrix is. The file is empty. This is the file I just sent out to you there. It should have been a PDF with all those, with this first slide here, with these slides. No? Got them? Nope. No worries. Are you guys on Facebook? Because that's what we're going to do next. So, guys, this is why you need to be on Facebook. Please be on Facebook. And if you're not on Facebook, you will. I'm just going to tell you, guys, you'll be missing out. You'll be really missing out if you're not on Facebook. I really don't mind if you've got something against Facebook. You can connect using all the onion networks and all the Tor you want, whatever you want to do. That's absolutely fine. But you will need to get on there. Sorry, and bring this up. Ta-da. 7 slides. That's the one. That's perfect. That's the one. It's saying some students might have to put a .pdf at the end as well. Should we code with you live, or should we do it when watching the recordings? Well, Stein, I'll leave that up to you. What you can do is you can code with me live. Now remember that even though we've got an hour, we're going to be doing full web projects in those hours. So just like the introduction course, I will be moving quickly, simply so that we can get everything done. Because, you know, it's no use to you if I'm going at a pace that everyone can keep up on and we don't get anything done. I think it's much faster, much better if we go just, breakneck speed, just fast enough to keep you all on your toes, just keep you all really on your toes, sweating, if you want to use that term. And then, of course, you can always come back and catch it again in the recordings. And we're on Facebook as well, yeah. And we're also on Facebook as well, so we'll be discussing things on there as well. So let me just quickly bring up my Facebook page here. Advanced Web Design. There we go. There it is. Alright, so let's see, 5 posts need approval. Ooh, a lot of people want to join this group. Where are we? Advanced Web Designer. No. I can't approve that. I can approve that. And I can approve that. And I can approve, and I can approve that. Perfect. And member requests. Oh, sorry, you've been chatting to me in my chat box, so I'm looking at the wrong screen. That's no problem at all, Christine. That's absolutely no problem at all. When we go into the applications like GIMP, sorry, this is the same group as last time around. This is the Advanced Web Design group. Now, what I will do this time around, so I'll give you the next group on Thursday as well, where I'm going to have one specific to this web design group. All the members of the Advanced Web Design group, you're actually the you guys will be the original founders of that group. I'm going to have to start creating extra groups moving forward just for everyone else so that you can all just stick together as a class. And that's actually simply because of all those wonderful students. Who's that there? That's Susan. Ah, Susan. That's actually because you were such a wonderful class and you were all performing so well inside the Facebook groups. I decided I better actually just keep making new groups for all of you guys because you seem to be very, very good at interacting with each other on there. So there we have it. So now we're approving another 42 people. Fantastic. And that is all that. And then I'll approve you to Bryan's design resources as well. So guys, remember, any questions about web design? In Advanced Web Design. If you want to share your projects, that's all fine. Share it all in Advanced Web Design. If you want to share some resources, so stuff like if you find some great bookmarks, if you find a great site, find some, great resources, well then you can stick them into Bryan's design resources and I'll approve them there. Unfortunately, I've got no way of actually connect. So if you post something onto the Advanced Web Design group, you will notice from my interface that I can't actually, mail you to say, actually it'd be better if you put it in there. I can't even share it and delete it. It doesn't work. So I will just keep blocking the posts until they eventually fall into the right group. That's no problem at all, Chris. No problem at all. I will see you on Thursday. All right. So do we have any other questions or any other concerns before we end this lesson and all prepare, get our applications downloading and everything like that? Yes, well, I'll actually be dipping. We won't be using CodePen all too much. I'll be dipping in there for examples. Yeah, I'll be dipping into CodePen just for their live example, just so that you'll be able to see the code update as I type. But we'll be doing all of our work, all of our HTML and CSS work, and so the first 2 semesters will be inside here. We'll be inside the Atom program, and then in WordPress we'll be inside the WordPress CMS. Then after that. All right, 2 seconds. Oh, sorry, I got a lot since I mentioned that we might be finishing soon. All these questions are popping up. 2 seconds. Let me see. Bandar, you can't actually have the source to cookies, to the cookie shake shop. Because they're protected by different licenses. Now you can take the lessons and you can copy what I did exactly, or you can take any of the themes that are out there and make them your own. Unfortunately, I can't release the source code to Cookie Shake Shop. I can't actually just give it to you. But if you go on there and you figure out how to take it off the site, that's absolutely fine. I just can't, as the developer, hand it over to you. All right? But you do still have access to that theme there on your dashboard as well. So that's the theme that was used to make it. There's just a few articles in there that I wasn't able to share with you. I don't have the license. How do I get my HTML5 boilerplate part of Atom? Well, you will notice because I created my new folder. Yeah, I created my development folder, which was there. Yeah, on my desktop, my UWDP, and that's where I saved my original index.html. Well, inside brackets, when I saved that, it found this folder path here, and in there at the time being was only index.html. So what I did to add my boilerplate was I just dropped it into my UWDP development folder, and it was just automatically viewable in the file explorer inside Atom. That's how we can add things in. All right. Well, sorry guys, just need to quickly try to scan through these questions. Yes, Brendan, we'll be covering all that kind of stuff in the later lessons anyway. Aside just generally means that it's aside from the text. Like that example, if I was writing a section, and in that section, if I was writing a sports section website, and inside that sports section I had a number of articles about baseball, about rugby and everything like that, and then I had an advert that I had done personally for a friend or for a neighbor who was selling shoes, and I wanted to put that on my page as well so you could sell shoes as an advert on my page, well, I'd stick that advert inside an aside because it has absolutely nothing to do with baseball or rugby or anything else to do with the website. It's an advert. It's aside from the text. So that's why we use aside. That's no problem at all, Chris. No problem at all. I'll be seeing you again on Thursday. And it's great to have you back, Chris. Sorry, I just saw the second name. It's great to have you back with us again, Chris. Yes, so it's Bryans. Bryans, Bryan's Design Resources. I'll send that one out to you again. Let me just pull that up. There we go. All right, you should have been added. That's fine. Bryan's Design. Whoops, daisy. Escape. Bryan's Design Resources. There we go. I've got the weird spelling of my name. My name is spelt with the Y, so it's Bryan. There we go. So I'll send that out to you all again. So that's Bryan Resigns resource. That's no problem at all, Carmen. I'll see you Thursday. When you see Bandar, there is no source code. Remember, that was all done using the elegant themes. That's done using elegant themes. Remember, there is no source code. It's all kind of, it's drag and drop. That's what we're using there. So the that cookie shake shop, that's all drag and drop. If you install the theme and you click library, then you'll be able to load them all up automatically. It's got a whole bunch of layouts already installed inside the theme, and that's the way you can do it. And that's the way you can get to them, or even just add it in yourself. Remember, I really don't like projects coming back to me the way I give them out. You've got plenty of imagination just to even change colors and stuff like that. But you should be able to. It's very intuitive, that theme that we were using the last time around anyway. No problem, Akash. I'll see you on Thursday. I will send you the Facebook page for this class on Thursday. I'm going to decide some. I want to think about this because I want to make it future-proof as well moving forward. I wasn't thinking very future-proof when I came up with the Advanced Web Design group, but we will come up with something better. And on Thursday I'll send you out the group that we can use to share our work. But Bryan's Advanced Web Design. This is the original group. The original members are there. And that's where we're going to be mainly operating from. I'm going to create another group though for us to share our work. That's no problem, Shane. No problem at all. You should be able to catch up on the recordings, and sure, you'll get along. You'll get along just fine. That's no problem at all. No problem at all, Stein. I'll catch you next time. No problem, Willem. See ya. That's no problem. Well, listen, guys. We're coming up to 25 past here in Dublin. So I am going to say good night, unless there's a very prudent question, unless there's something extremely important. But don't worry, because you can always get me at web.design@shawacademy.com. All right. So just send an email there to web.design@shawacademy.com. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll approve the rest of you on my train home. Because this computer's taking ages to approve you. And so go ahead, use that spreadsheet, download the applications, anything you can find. There'll be links up on your dashboard tomorrow to the rest of them. And sure, I'll be seeing you all Thursday, and we're going to be broken. There will be very few slides on Thursdays, guys, so prepare for that. Normally I stick to like 1 or 2 or 3 slides, normally max, on a Thursday session. It's straight into the code editing. So guys, I will see you all there. Have a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and a very good night, everybody.